In the quiet hills outside of Roswell, New Mexico, an unexpected discovery was made in 2004 that would send shockwaves through the UFO community and beyond. A man named Robert Ridge, while deer hunting, stumbled across something that seemed both out of place and yet oddly familiar. Buried just a few inches beneath the dirt was a rock, but this was no ordinary rock. It was unlike anything found in the area before. It was smooth, almost unnaturally so, and it carried an eerie geometric carving on its surface. What made this rock so fascinating was that it appeared to be a mystery, one that linked back to the heart of UFO lore Roswell itself. At first, Robert Ridge thought little of it. It was, after all, just a rock, right? Yet something about it didn't sit well with him. The carving on its surface seemed deliberate, as though it had been etched with purpose, a purpose that he couldn't immediately comprehend. So he showed it to his friends, and what started as a simple curiosity soon turned into a conversation piece that no one could ignore. As more people got involved, it became clear that there was something undeniably strange about this rock. It wasn't just any object left behind by a careless traveler. The more they examined it, the more it seemed to carry a message, one that might connect to something much larger than any of them had ever imagined. The carving itself was a series of complex geometric shapes, patterns that didn't seem natural to the human eye. They were precise, detailed, and more than anything else, alien in their execution. The bizarre nature of the rock, combined with its strange design, soon sparked a deeper investigation. This wasn't just a weathered stone or a curious relic of some long-gone civilization. No, this rock seemed to have a purpose, a meaning that didn't fit into the world they knew. As Robert Ridge began to look deeper into this discovery, he found that this mysterious rock had more in common with the phenomenon of crop circles than he had ever expected. You see, crop circles, those strange, intricate designs found in fields across the world, had long been tied to theories of extraterrestrial communication. For years, researchers had speculated that these intricate patterns were not the work of hoaxers, but instead were messages sent to Earth from distant civilizations, messages that humanity had yet to fully decipher. And now, here was a rock, a seemingly insignificant object in the grand scheme of things that might be part of the same puzzle. Could this carving, this Roswell rock, be a part of something bigger? But it wasn't just the strange nature of the rock that captured the imagination of those who encountered it. No, there was something far more unsettling at play here. As it turns out, this wasn't the first time an object like this had been discovered in connection to Roswell. The infamous UFO crash in 1947 had already laid the groundwork for the idea that something extraordinary was happening in the skies above the New Mexico desert. The Roswell incident, which sparked a decades-long debate over the existence of extraterrestrial life, was just the beginning. And now, this stone seemed to offer a piece of the puzzle, a new clue in the ongoing mystery of what really happened that night. As the investigation into the Roswell rock deepened, it quickly became apparent that there was something intentionally mysterious about it. The way it was perfectly magnetized, the way it seemed to have been carved without any visible tool marks, made it unlike anything that could have been made by human hands. It was almost as if the rock had been designed and placed there specifically for someone to find. But for what purpose? Some began to speculate that the rock and its odd carvings could be some form of alien technology, a signal left behind by visitors from another world. The timing of the discovery seemed too perfect, too coincidental, considering it had been found just outside of Roswell, the site of the infamous 1947 UFO crash. Was it possible that the rock was a message? Was it somehow connected to the beings that had allegedly visited Earth all those years ago? Or could it be a sign that the mystery of Roswell was far from over? This is where the story takes on an even deeper sense of intrigue. The carving on the rock didn't just contain random patterns or symbols. No, It seemed to mirror some of the complex formations found in crop circles, the same types of shapes that had baffled researchers for decades. Could the rock be the missing link? A tangible piece of evidence that tied together UFO sightings, crop circles, and extraterrestrial communication. But here's where the mystery grows even darker and more complicated. If the Roswell rock was indeed part of a larger unknown story, then why wasn't it being taken more seriously? Why weren't the authorities jumping at the chance to investigate this remarkable find? As the weeks passed and more attention was drawn to the rock, Robert Ridge began to experience strange things. Calls from unknown numbers, shadowy figures lurking near his property, and a growing sense that he was being watched. Could it be that someone or something didn't want him to uncover the truth? Was the Roswell rock more than just a strange artifact? Was it a warning? Or perhaps it was a piece of a much larger game being played out behind closed doors, one that involved forces far beyond his comprehension. As Ridge delved deeper into the mystery, he couldn't help but feel like he was caught in the midst of something much bigger than he could ever have imagined. The pieces were falling into place, but they didn't make sense. It was as though he were walking through a maze, where every turn revealed a new layer of the enigma. And yet, the answers remained just out of reach. This sense of bewilderment is something that many researchers in the UFO and paranormal communities know all too well. Over the years, many have tried to make sense of the unexplained, only to be met with more questions than answers. And yet, there's a driving force that keeps them pushing forward, the desire to understand, to uncover the truth, no matter how elusive it may be. And for Robert Ridge, the Roswell rock represented just another piece of that puzzle, a piece that might one day lead to an answer. For now, though, the mystery remains. The rock still sits in the hands of those who dare to investigate it, a symbol of the unknown and a reminder that there's always more to discover. And just as the UFOs over Roswell left their mark on history, so too will the Roswell rock leave its legacy, quietly urging those who seek the truth to keep digging even when the answers remain hidden in the shadows. The story of Doug and Dave, the creators of crop circles. In the late 20th century, one of the most baffling and intriguing phenomena to capture the attention of the world was the mysterious appearance of crop circles. These intricate geometric shapes would suddenly appear overnight, flattening crops in massive fields. The first recorded crop circles were simple, but as the years passed, the designs grew more complex, perfect spirals, intricate star patterns, and even complex pictograms. The mystery of these formations gripped the public's imagination. Were they the result of alien communication, a natural occurrence, or something more sinister? The story of Doug Bauer and Dave Chale, two retired men from England, would eventually shed light on this mystery, though it would open a whole new can of worms. The tale of these two men who claimed to have invented the phenomenon is filled with intrigue, contradictions, and enough twists and turns to rival any thriller. Doug and Dave's confession came in 1991, just after the crop circle phenomenon had reached global attention. For over a decade, researchers, scientists, and enthusiasts had been investigating these strange formations, but none could explain their origins. Many believed they were a form of communication from extraterrestrial beings. The crop circles appeared overnight, often in fields that were miles away from the nearest town. No one saw who or what created them. The designs were too intricate, too perfectly executed to be the work of random people, and too large to be done by hand or with any traditional tools. Some even suggested that the patterns could be the result of UFOs landing or sending messages from afar. Then came Doug and Dave. Their stories started in a humble pub in England in 1978. Doug, a former military man, and Dave, an artist, were drinking together when Doug came up with an idea that would change the world, at least for a while. He suggested they create their own crop circles as a prank. It seemed harmless enough, something to amuse themselves and maybe fool a few locals. Doug was inspired by the story of a mysterious circular formation seen in Tully, Australia, back in 1966. In his mind, if the UFO community could be fooled by this phenomenon, why couldn't they make their own version? It was a harmless joke at first, armed with nothing more than a piece of rope, a wooden plank, and a twisted wire. Doug and Dave ventured into the fields in southern England, creating their first crop circle. The result was rough and crude by today's standards. But it was a start. As time went on, they honed their craft. The circles became more complex, the patterns more precise. They used simple tools to flatten the crops in perfect designs, walking in circles, laying down the plants with the plank to form their art. What started as a joke had now turned into an elaborate hoax that would fool the public, the media, and even some of the most dedicated UFO researchers. Despite their success in creating these crop circles, Doug and Dave's story didn't hold up under scrutiny. As more crop circles appeared in fields across England and around the world, the public started asking more questions. How could two men, armed with just basic tools, create these massive, intricate patterns? And why were some crop circles so precise that even the plants seemed undamaged, appearing to have been carefully laid down instead of crushed underfoot? The more the two men spoke about their exploits, the more inconsistencies appeared in their story. Doug and Dave's timeline was riddled with contradictions. At first, they claimed to have started making crop circles in 1978, but later, they pushed the date back to 1976 and then 1975. They couldn't agree on the year they had started the hoax. They claimed to have created certain famous crop circles, only to later deny it. The story changed as quickly as the patterns appeared in the fields. One of the most memorable pieces of their story came when they tried to demonstrate their method for a news crew. Doug attempted to recreate a crop circle in front of cameras, but in the process, he accidentally made the circle twice, as big as it should have been. He gave up shortly after, admitting that the process was far more difficult than he had anticipated. Their demonstration failed to convince many, and skeptics began to question whether they were the true creators of all the crop circles that had appeared. But it wasn't just their inconsistent story that caused doubts. The true nature of the crop circles couldn't be explained so simply. While Doug and Dave were the ones who came forward and took credit for many formations, there were countless other crop circles that couldn't be so easily dismissed. Their designs were often far more elaborate than the simple patterns Doug and Dave were able to create with their rudimentary methods. The more complicated designs often showed characteristics that couldn't be replicated by the methods. Doug and Dave used precise angles, symmetrical patterns, and plants that had been flattened without breaking. How could they have done that? The mystery deepened when scientists began to study the crop circles. The plants within the formations were not damaged in the usual way. In some cases, the plants bent at the nodes almost as if they had been heated or exposed to intense energy. There was also evidence of electromagnetic disturbances around the crop circles. Some researchers theorized that microwave energy, similar to the radiation used in microwave ovens, could be responsible for the way the plants were bent without being broken. Doug and Dave's simple tools seemed increasingly inadequate to explain such phenomena. The more people investigated, the more they realized that there were far too many inconsistencies for Doug and Dave to be the sole creators of crop circles. Their story, once seen as a breakthrough in unraveling the mystery, now seemed more like a distraction, a smokescreen to cover up the true nature of the phenomenon. Perhaps Doug and Dave had started the trend, but they were far from being the only ones involved. And so, the legend of Doug and Dave continues to live on, not just as the pranksters who started a global mystery, but as a cautionary tale of how easily people can be deceived. Their story is a reminder of the power of curiosity, the allure of the unknown, and the dangers of jumping to conclusions. While their role in creating crop circles may have been exaggerated, the question of what's really behind the phenomenon remains unresolved. Could there still be a deeper truth hiding in those swirling patterns, waiting to be uncovered? Or, as Doug and Dave's story suggests, is the mystery simply another case of mischief, this time on a much larger scale? For those who still believe in the possibility of something greater, the mystery of crop circles remains unsolved. And for the rest of us, the questions continue to linger. What if there's more to this story than we've been led to believe? What if the truth is far stranger than we can imagine? In the quiet, moonlit fields of southern England, crop circles appear mysteriously every year. These intricate patterns etched into the land, often during the dead of night, have captured the imagination of many, but some still question their origins. The question that lingers is, could there be more to these formations than meets the eye? Some researchers suggest that crop circles may be more than just artistic hoaxes or pranks. They may carry messages from beyond our world, or at the very least, they may involve phenomena far beyond the capabilities of human hands. One of the most striking aspects of crop circles is their connection to electromagnetic forces. Unlike other simple designs made by pranksters with wooden planks, many of the genuine crop circles exhibit signs of something much more powerful at play. These formations are often found in fields with peculiar electromagnetic activity, leaving behind unusual patterns on the crops that cannot be replicated by man-made tools. Imagine walking through a field, observing the smooth, graceful curves of a crop circle, and suddenly you feel a strange tingling sensation in the air. It's as if the very atmosphere around you is charged with energy. Some people have described this feeling, noting that their hair stands on end or that their electronic devices begin to malfunction the moment they step into one of these formations. What's even more startling is that this isn't just some odd coincidence. This phenomenon is backed by scientific research. Biophysicist William Levengood conducted studies on plants that were found within crop circles and discovered something extraordinary. The wheat stalks in these areas were often not just bent, but were actually elongated at the nodes, where the plant's growth is concentrated. These nodes had ruptured in a way that could only be caused by extreme bursts of energy. Levengood's team found that this kind of rupturing is a known effect of microwave radiation. This isn't the type of energy you can generate with simple tools. This is high-energy radiation, the kind that could potentially come from an otherworldly source. But it's not just the plants that seem to be affected. Witnesses who have entered crop circles have reported a sense of disorientation or even a sudden rush of emotional sensations. Some have described experiencing an overwhelming feeling of calm, while others have felt as though they were being watched by an unseen presence. One woman who visited a crop circle reported that her thyroid gland mysteriously shrank by 40% after spending just a few hours inside one of the formations. Could it be that these circles are tapping into some kind of cosmic energy, altering the physical world in ways we still don't fully understand? The mystery deepens when considering the electromagnetic anomalies surrounding these circles. Research shows that crop circles often appear in areas rich with unusual electromagnetic readings. Some researchers suggest that the Earth itself may be part of a vast web of electromagnetic energy lines, often referred to as ley lines. These ley lines are believed to be pathways of energy that connect certain sacred or significant locations around the world. If crop circles are indeed being created by these invisible forces, it might explain why they so often appear near ancient landmarks like Stonehenge and Silbury Hill. These areas, already steeped in mystery, could be naturally aligned with the energy required to form the patterns we see. Now, consider the possibility that the electromagnetic fields responsible for crop circles are somehow tied to an intelligence beyond our comprehension. Some researchers believe that these fields could be manipulated by advanced technology, either from extraterrestrial sources or from a hidden human project. After all, we know that electromagnetic fields can be used to manipulate matter. If the theory is true, could we be looking at the work of a civilization far beyond our own, capable of creating intricate patterns on the Earth's surface as a means of communicating with us. Or perhaps even more mind-boggling, are these patterns some sort of map or guide, leading us to uncover secrets hidden deep within the Earth? This theory is supported by the findings of Dr. Horace Drew, a scientist who has extensively studied the electromagnetic properties of crop circles. According to Dr. Drew, some crop circles contain magnetic particles that have been altered by extreme forces that cannot be naturally produced by human means. In some cases, these particles resemble the characteristics of meteorite iron, which only forms under high energy conditions in outer space. This suggests that the energy required to create these crop circles is far beyond our current scientific understanding and might be linked to phenomena such as solar flares or even energy emissions from distant galaxies. Yes, we stand at the edge of this cosmic mystery. It's easy to feel both awe and confusion. What could be the purpose of these strange geometric designs? Are they a message from the stars, or merely the result of a natural phenomenon we have yet to fully grasp? The evidence points to something far more mysterious than simple hoaxes, yet we are left with more questions than answers. But one thing is certain: the crop circles are no mere accident. There is a pattern, a method to the madness, and it speaks to us through the very fabric of nature. As someone who has walked the earth for many years, you may find yourself pondering, what if there is more to this world than we have been taught to believe? What if these crop circles, these bizarre and beautiful formations, are not just the result of pranksters or natural forces, but a sign of something much greater? Could there be forces at play, forces that we as humans are only just beginning to understand? It's a thought that stirs the imagination, filling us with a sense of wonder and excitement. After all, if these crop circles are the result of some form of advanced technology or extraterrestrial communication, the possibilities are endless. The answers to these mysteries may lie just beyond our grasp, but one thing is certain: the journey to uncover the truth is just beginning, and who knows what we will discover along the way. As we explore these enigmatic patterns, we are reminded that there is so much more to the world than what we can see with our eyes. Perhaps just as the crop circles themselves are shrouded in mystery, so too is the vast universe that surrounds us. The only way to unlock these secrets is to keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep believing that the unknown may hold the answers we seek. There are places in the world that hold a mysterious energy, places that have drawn people in for centuries. These locations are often steeped in ancient history, and many are thought to possess a kind of magnetic pull that transcends the natural world. One such place is Silbury Hill, located in southern England, a site that has long been shrouded in mystery. Towering 130 feet above the surrounding countryside, Silbury Hill is one of the largest man-made earthen structures in Europe. For over 4,000 years, it has captured the imaginations of archaeologists, historians, and travelers alike. But what if there's more to Silbury Hill than meets the eye? In the quiet rolling hills surrounding Silbury Hill, crop circles have appeared with an eerie regularity, often found in the fields near this ancient mound. For years, these formations have mystified both locals and experts. While some people dismiss them as simple pranks or man-made hoaxes, others believe these designs are far from ordinary. Many point to the remarkable precision of the crop circles, the unusual patterns they form, and their frequent proximity to sacred sites like Silbury Hill and the nearby Stonehenge. Stonehenge, a site as famous as it is enigmatic, lies just a short distance from Silbury Hill. The ancient stones, arranged in a perfect circle, have long been a focal point for those interested in the mysteries of the past. They have been the subject of countless theories, some suggesting they were built by ancient civilizations with advanced knowledge, while others speculate that the stones could be a marker for celestial events. But regardless of their origin, one thing is certain: Stonehenge and Silbury Hill are not alone in their strange allure. They share their space with crop circles, and over time, these formations have become part of a larger, far more puzzling picture. Many who have ventured to these sites report strange feelings, an unshakable sense that something beyond our understanding is at play. Visitors often describe a palpable energy in the air, an electric hum that vibrates deep within their bones as they stand in the midst of these ancient monuments. For some, it feels as though the very ground beneath them is alive, pulsating with a hidden force. The mysterious crop circles that appear near these sacred sites only add to the unsettling atmosphere. Could these formations be a form of communication, a signal from another realm or another world? As the years have gone by, the connection between crop circles and places like Silbury Hill and Stonehenge has only deepened. It's as though these sites have become interconnected, drawing in energy from one another, creating a powerful web of mystery that stretches across the landscape. The locations themselves, places tied to ancient rituals, ceremonies, and celestial alignments, seem to form a map, a pathway that leads us into the unknown. The most compelling evidence of this connection comes from the nature of the crop circles themselves. Unlike the crude, man-made circles that can easily be replicated with planks and ropes, many of the formations found near these sacred sites are far too intricate and precise to be the work of mere pranksters. These circles often appear overnight, with no trace of human intervention, and the plants within them appear to be bent, not broken, almost as if they've been gently laid down by an unseen force. The patterns often display geometric shapes, intricate designs that seem to reflect a deeper understanding of mathematics and physics, as if the creators of these formations are speaking to us in a language we have yet to fully decipher. One particular formation found near Silbury Hill in 1996 sent shockwaves through the world of crop circle enthusiasts. The formation, known as the Stonehenge Surprise, was unlike anything seen before. It was a complex and elaborate fractal pattern, a design that resembled a Julia set, a mathematical figure that repeats itself at different scales. This formation appeared only a few hundred yards from the ancient stones of Stonehenge, and its precision was breathtaking. The sheer complexity of the design left many researchers scratching their heads. How could anyone, even with the most advanced technology, create such a formation in the dead of night without leaving a trace? The mystery deepened as researchers noted that this crop circle was not just a random arrangement of plants, it was a carefully calculated design that seemed to convey something far more significant: the idea that these crop circles might be connected to the mystical energy of sacred sites like Silbury Hill and Stonehenge raises more questions than answers. Could these formations be a form of cosmic communication? Are they trying to tell us something, perhaps about the nature of the universe, our place within it, or even the existence of other civilizations in the vastness of space? Theories abound, but no definitive answers have been found. For many, the question remains: why do these formations appear near such significant sites? Could it be that these locations, with their ancient history and spiritual significance, act as magnets for energy from other dimensions or realms? Some believe that the energy fields surrounding these sacred sites are sensitive to certain frequencies, and that crop circles are a way for an unknown force to communicate with us. Others speculate that these formations could be a map or blueprint for a technology that we have yet to understand, a key to unlocking the secrets of the universe. As these mysteries unfold, the connection between crop circles and sacred sites like Silbury Hill and Stonehenge becomes more than just an academic curiosity. It becomes a personal journey, a quest for understanding the unknown, a journey that beckons to us all. For those who feel a deep, inexplicable pull toward these sites, there is an invitation to explore the possibilities, to venture into the heart of the mystery, and see what lies beyond the veil of our understanding. Perhaps, just maybe, these crop circles are not simply random designs in a field. Maybe they are a cosmic message, a signpost pointing us toward something greater. For those brave enough to seek the truth, the answers may be waiting just beyond the horizon. So, the next time you find yourself standing in a field near Silbury Hill or Stonehenge, take a moment to listen. The universe might be trying to speak to you. In the stillness of a quiet summer night, when the stars above twinkled as they had for millennia, a phenomenon began to take shape on the ground below. It wasn't a simple crop, swaying gently in the wind. No, what appeared in the fields was something far more complex, a carefully crafted design that stretched for miles, a pattern so intricate and precise that it defied logic and human understanding. The shapes, spirals, geometric figures, and otherworldly designs seemed too perfect to be the product of nature. As if an unseen hand from far beyond our world had gently shaped them. Imagine for a moment being a farmer in rural America, perhaps near the quiet fields of Kansas or the rolling hills of Ohio. One morning, you wake up to find your crops twisted and bent in strange, elaborate patterns that weren't there the day before. As the sun casts long shadows across the earth, you can't help but stand in awe at the sheer complexity of what's been left behind. Could this really be a natural phenomenon? Could this be the work of something else? Your mind races with possibilities, but one question gnaws at you. What is the meaning behind these shapes? This is the mystery of crop circles. These strange, often mind-boggling formations have been reported across the globe, from the wheat fields of England to the cornfields of North America. Some dismiss them as hoaxes, the result of mischievous pranksters armed with planks and ropes. Yet, others believe that crop circles are something far more significant, even transcendent. Could these formations be messages? Not from any human being, but from the stars themselves. Let's take a journey together. A journey that challenges everything we know about the universe, about science, and perhaps about our place within it. What if these crop circles aren't just random markings in fields, but a form of communication from an intelligence beyond our understanding? Could they be signals, messages from extraterrestrial civilizations seeking to reach us? If so, what are they trying to say? Consider the patterns themselves. Some crop circles are simple, just circles neatly arranged, while others are extraordinarily complex, incorporating intricate geometric shapes or even fractal designs. The level of precision in these formations often leaves researchers puzzled. How could something so perfectly aligned, so precise, be the work of mere humans? It's as though a cosmic force is shaping the earth itself, a force that speaks a language beyond our comprehension. What if this language is mathematical? We know that mathematics is a universal language, one that transcends cultural barriers, a language that could potentially be understood by intelligent beings on distant worlds. And indeed, many crop circles contain patterns that align with famous mathematical concepts, such as the Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio, and even representations of the number pi. These are the same mathematical principles that govern the very structure of our universe, from the spirals of galaxies to the way plants grow. What if, in their own cryptic way, these crop circles are attempting to communicate with us using the very building blocks of reality? But here's where the mystery deepens. In some cases, the formations contain binary code, a string of ones and zeros that could, in theory, encode a message. What is the message behind these sequences? What are they trying to tell us? The intrigue intensifies when we consider the possibility that these crop circles are more than just geometric shapes. They could be a form of intergalactic communication, a signal sent by beings far more advanced than us, beings who understand the universe in ways we can only dream of. Yet, for all the excitement these theories generate, the contradictions are equally perplexing. Some researchers believe that crop circles are indeed the work of extraterrestrials, while others argue that they are elaborate hoaxes. The most famous crop circle hoaxers, Doug and Dave, confessed to creating these formations using basic tools like wooden planks and ropes. But their story, full of inconsistencies, only raises more questions. Their so-called proof of hoaxing doesn't explain the incredibly intricate and beautiful designs that defy any simple human-made explanation. This dichotomy, the belief in the supernatural and the skepticism of those who claim to have solved the mystery, creates a tension that's difficult to resolve. Are we witnessing an elaborate trick of the mind, or are we looking at the first signs of contact with another world? Is it possible that we are simply not prepared to understand the true meaning behind these formations, or worse, that we are being kept in the dark by forces far more powerful than we realize? One thing is for certain: the more we examine these crop circles, the more we realize just how much we don't know. Each discovery only opens the door to more questions. And in this uncertainty lies the most exciting part of all the possibility that we are on the brink of uncovering something far greater than ourselves. Perhaps crop circles are more than just enigmatic symbols. Perhaps they are messages, a cosmic invitation to unlock the mysteries of the universe. What if these messages are pointing us toward something extraordinary? What if, hidden within the designs, there's a blueprint for understanding the fabric of space and time, a map to untangle the mysteries of the cosmos? If we dare to look deeper, to truly listen to the patterns etched into the fields, could we discover a path to a new era of knowledge? For those of us who have spent years looking up at the stars, who have wondered about the vastness of space and the possibility of life beyond our planet, crop circles may be the most tangible evidence we have of extraterrestrial life. They're an invitation to explore, to question, and to discover. But as we stand in the midst of this mystery, we must ask ourselves, are we ready to understand what these messages mean? Are we prepared to face the possibility that we are not alone in the universe? This is where the adventure begins. It's an invitation for each of us to step into the unknown and embrace the mystery. Will you join the quest to uncover the truth? The journey awaits, and the answers may be closer than we think. All we need to do is open our minds and listen to the messages that the universe is sending us through the crop circles in our fields and the stars above. In the early days of crop circle research, an overwhelming sense of mystery and wonder permeated the air. These intricate formations, appearing seemingly overnight in fields across the world, baffled the scientific community and captivated the imaginations of everyday people. However, as the phenomenon gained more attention, a dark undercurrent began to emerge, one that involved the very agencies meant to protect and serve the public. What started as a search for the truth behind these enigmatic patterns quickly became entangled in a web of deceit and manipulation. It was the mid-1980s when the first signs of something much bigger began to surface. Researchers like Colin Andrews, a dedicated investigator of crop circles, believed that these formations were far more than just the work of pranksters. With their precise geometric shapes and, in many cases, near impossible to reproduce designs, Andrews and other experts were convinced that these patterns were a form of communication. But as they dug deeper into their research, they realized that there was more to the story. A shadowy hand appeared to be at play, one that seemed intent on undermining their efforts. As crop circles gained notoriety in the media, the government took notice. After all, these formations were not just an agricultural curiosity. They had the potential to suggest something far more extraordinary, perhaps even extraterrestrial. In the United Kingdom, the military began to monitor these mysterious occurrences closely. While their official stance was that crop circles were nothing more than hoaxes, the military was taking an active interest in the phenomenon. It wasn't long before the public's curiosity about crop circles was met with an official disinformation campaign. Operation Blackbird, a covert military operation, was set into motion in 1985. The goal was simple: to capture footage of a crop circle formation in real time. Sounds reasonable, right? But what happened next is far from ordinary. For months, military personnel worked alongside prominent researchers like Colin Andrews, setting up a high-tech surveillance network around a designated field. Night vision cameras, infrared sensors, and even human spotters were stationed around the clock to ensure that no one could tamper with the evidence. But when a crop circle finally appeared within the restricted area, the entire operation fell apart. Instead of the intricate, well-crafted patterns that had been reported by countless witnesses, what appeared was a crude and embarrassingly simple formation, complete with an astrology board game at its center. This was no accidental mistake, it was a deliberate attempt to discredit the entire crop circle phenomenon. As Andrews stood in front of the cameras, bewildered by the turn of events, it became painfully clear someone had orchestrated the whole thing to undermine the credibility of serious researchers. The conspiracy didn't end there. As Andrews and others continued to investigate, they found themselves at the mercy of a much larger, more sinister force. Enter Doug Bauer and Dave Chale, two men who claimed to have invented crop circles in the 1970s as a prank. Their story seemed too perfect, too neatly tied together. And yet, as the details of their tale began to unravel, it became evident that they were not simply pranksters. They were players in a far more complex game, one orchestrated by government agencies. Despite their claims, Bauer and Chale's reproductions of crop circles often lacked the precision of the real formations. The more complicated the design, the worse the results. And yet, they continued to receive media attention. Why? Because their confessions aligned perfectly with the narrative the government wanted to push, that crop circles were nothing more than hoaxes created by a couple of old men with a sense of humor. The public bought into it, and soon the whole phenomenon was dismissed as nothing more than an elaborate joke. But as we know, this story doesn't always align with the surface narrative. In the years that followed, further research would expose troubling inconsistencies in the accounts given by Bauer and Chale. Their story seemed to shift with the winds of public opinion. First, they claimed to have started making crop circles in 1976. Then, it was 1978. Later, they even denied having created some of the most famous formations they had previously taken credit for. The more they talked, the less sense their story made. What made these developments all the more perplexing was the undeniable presence of military and intelligence agency involvement. Over time, researchers like Colin Andrews began to realize that the media had been manipulated, that the hoaxers had been placed in the spotlight to serve a very specific agenda. The real question was, why? What did the government hope to achieve by discrediting this phenomenon? Why were they so eager to ensure that no one believed in the possibility of extraterrestrial communication through crop circles? As more crop circles appeared, each with increasingly complex and mysterious designs, it became clear that the government's role in this cover-up was not just about maintaining control over public perception, it was about controlling the truth itself. From surveillance operations like Blackbird to the fabricated confessions of Bauer and Chale, it seemed that every step the government took was aimed at steering the narrative in a direction that would keep people from asking the most dangerous question: what if these formations are real? But even with the media manipulation and the disinformation campaigns, some researchers refused to back down. Andrews, despite the pressure, continued his investigation. Yet, as his efforts became more public, he too was drawn into the web of deceit. The government wasn't content with just manipulating the media, it turned its attention to individuals. Andrews and other researchers began receiving threats, warnings to back off from their investigations, or face dire consequences. In one particularly chilling moment, Andrews recalled an interaction with a mysterious figure who claimed to have ties to the CIA. This individual offered him an incredible deal: all the funding and resources he could ever need for his research, in exchange for one simple condition: he must publicly declare that crop circles were a hoax. When Andrews refused, the pressure mounted. The calls kept coming, and the threats became more explicit. The government had made its intentions clear. They would stop at nothing to ensure that the truth behind crop circles remained buried. As the years passed, the public's interest in crop circles waned, but the mystery never truly went away. Some still believe in the possibility that these formations are messages from an extraterrestrial source. Others are more skeptical, convinced that they are simply elaborate hoaxes, part of a much larger conspiracy. But for those like Andrews, the battle for truth is far from over. The question remains, how much of what we've been told is the truth, and how much has been carefully orchestrated to keep us from ever discovering what lies beneath? In the end, the story of crop circles isn't just about strange patterns in the fields, it's about the lengths to which the government and powerful entities will go to control the narrative and manipulate public perception. It's a story of intrigue, deception, and the relentless pursuit of the truth. And for those brave enough to look beyond the surface, it remains an invitation to question everything you think you know about the world around you. In the quiet corners of the world, beneath the vast expanse of the night sky, lies a mystery that has puzzled mankind for decades: the phenomenon of crop circles. These intricate designs, appearing overnight in fields across the globe, have sparked debates, fueled imaginations, and left us with more questions than answers. For those of us who have lived long enough to witness the mysteries of the universe unfold, the crop circle phenomenon is a perplexing puzzle, one that has both captivated and confused generations. But let's step back for a moment. Picture this. You're in a peaceful rural town, nestled in the rolling hills of the American Midwest, surrounded by vast fields of golden wheat. One crisp morning, as you stroll through the fields, you notice something strange: a perfectly formed, symmetrical pattern etched into the ground. The stalks of the wheat are bent with such precision, it seems almost unnatural. It's too intricate, too precise, and too perfectly placed to be a simple product of nature. You can't help but wonder, how did it get there? Was it a work of art, a prank, or something far more enigmatic? This is where the story takes a dramatic turn. For years, scientists, researchers, and even casual observers have pondered the origins of these formations. Is it a natural phenomenon, a bizarre byproduct of weather patterns, or a mysterious underground force? Or could it be, as some believe, a message from beings far beyond our understanding? The mystery has deepened with each new formation, each more complex and cryptic than the last. With every circle, spiral, or geometric shape that emerges in the fields, we are left grappling with the same fundamental question: who or what is behind these designs? The beauty of the crop circle phenomenon lies not only in the complexity of the patterns, but also in the ambiguity surrounding them. It's as though the universe itself is whispering to us, offering fragments of a message that we have yet to decode. And for many, especially those of us who have seen so much in our lives, this is where the adventure begins. The idea that there could be something greater out there, something beyond our world, beckons us to consider the infinite possibilities that lie just beyond the horizon. Imagine being a part of this journey. Perhaps you've read the books, seen the documentaries, or even heard the theories. Maybe you've met some of the people who have dedicated their lives to understanding these mysterious symbols: the scientists, the researchers, and the everyday folks who have stumbled upon these formations and felt the same sense of wonder. These people are not just observers. They are participants in something far greater than themselves. They are on a quest, not only to uncover the secrets of crop circles, but also to answer the questions that have lingered in our hearts for centuries. Are we alone in the universe? What is the meaning behind these strange symbols? What message do they carry? But as the mystery deepens, so too does the complexity. The more we try to understand, the more we realize how little we truly know. Could these formations be more than just random shapes? Could they be messages from civilizations far more advanced than our own, using crop circles as a way to communicate with us? The idea that we might be on the brink of discovering a cosmic truth, that we are not alone, that there are other life forms in the universe trying to reach out, is both exhilarating and terrifying. It's easy to dismiss these formations as mere hoaxes, especially when confronted with the well-publicized confessions of a couple of pranksters, Doug and Dave, who claimed responsibility for creating crop circles in the late 20th century. They may have made a few simple shapes using nothing more than planks and rope, but as we dig deeper, the more we realize that these explanations don't account for the sheer complexity and perfection of many crop circles. These designs don't follow the same patterns as the crude, handmade creations of Doug and Dave. Some of them seem to defy human logic and skill. How could these patterns be so perfectly arranged? Why do they appear so suddenly, and in places where no one could have planned them? The questions continue to multiply, with no clear answers in sight for those of us who are seasoned in the ways of the world. It's hard not to feel a twinge of excitement when we consider the possibilities. After all, we've lived through enough history to know that the most profound discoveries often come when we least expect them. Think back to the great scientific breakthroughs of our time, the discovery of electricity, the theory of relativity, the first manned moon landing. Each of these moments was once thought to be impossible, too wild, too outlandish. But they happened. And the question remains, could crop circles be part of the next great discovery? In the midst of all this uncertainty, there is a sense of camaraderie, a connection to something greater than ourselves. As we look to the sky, we join a long line of thinkers, dreamers, and explorers who have looked up and wondered about the mysteries of the universe. For those of us who are older, who have seen the world change in so many ways, there's a certain comfort in the idea that the journey is far from over. We may not have the answers yet, but we are part of a quest that transcends time, a quest for truth, understanding, and the unyielding pursuit of knowledge, and so we remain curious. The mystery of crop circles, UFOs, and the unknown will continue to fascinate us. It's not just about finding the answers. It's about the journey itself, the adventure of exploring the impossible, the thrill of facing the unknown, and the excitement of knowing that there is always more to discover. As we sit on our porches, gazing at the stars, we can't help but wonder, what if the answers are just waiting to be found, hidden in plain sight, ready to change everything we thought we knew about the universe? So, let's keep our minds open, our curiosity alive, and our hearts ready for whatever revelations the cosmos may offer. For in the end, the greatest mystery of all may not be the crop circles themselves, but the incredible journey of discovery that lies ahead. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you found it helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any new videos. I truly appreciate your support and hope to see you again in the next videos.